Hi all. In the last class, we have discussed what is a invariant subspace. That means if we have a vector space V and we have a linear transformation T on this V, say this is W and we have V here, and here again we have W. Suppose we have a linear transformation T, then for any alpha belongs to W, we can get T alpha is also in W. Then this is true for every alpha belongs to W. Then we call this W as the invariant subspace under T. That means image of every element of this W is again in W. Okay, so when you act this T on this alpha, you can get the same thing in W, or the vector in W. And now we define T conductor of this alpha. Suppose if W is invariant under T, then we can say that this for any alpha belongs to W, the image is in W. But if we choose a beta in V, beta is an arbitrary element in V, we cannot assume that this T beta is also in W. Okay, of course T beta is also in V as well, but we cannot get this T beta as an element of W. But sometimes if you consider T of 0, then you can say that what is T of 0 of beta? T of 0 is identity element, so this is again beta. Okay, similarly, what is 0 of beta? Okay, if you take 0 of beta, this is always 0 and belongs to this V. Okay, belongs to W as well. That means if you consider some power of T, or if you consider a linear transformation 0, then 0 the action of 0 will give the images in W. But if we consider T, then we cannot assume that that is in W. So we have some polynomial. If you consider a polynomial, say h of x equal to 0 polynomial, this is 0, then what is h of t? H of t is 0 transformation. Then we can say that h of t of beta is equal to 0 of beta. 0 of beta is equal to 0, that is also in W. So even though this beta is not an element of W, then some polynomial will help us to find a linear transformation, that is h of t, which brings this beta to the subspace W. Okay, sometimes if we have beta belongs to V, and if you take t square of beta for some case, t square of beta minus t beta can be in W. Okay, this is also possible. Okay, if in this case we call we collect h of x as, if this case we can say that there exists a polynomial x square minus x. Okay, if this is true, then we call this h of x equal to x square minus x, which gives h of t of beta is in W. H of t of beta is t square minus t of beta. If that quantity is in W, then we call this h help us to find out a polynomial in t which brings this beta into the W. Okay, in that sense, we collect all such polynomials corresponding to this beta, which those polynomials induces a linear operator, say h of t, which brings this beta into W. Okay, now we have, suppose we have V and a linear operator T belongs to L of V. Then if we suppose we have a invariant subspace W, and for any alpha belongs to V, alpha need not be in W, but if you have a polynomial G is a polynomial, say G of x belongs to the corresponding f of x, such that if G of t of alpha, so any polynomial induces a linear operator, G of t, then if G of t of alpha belongs to W, then we collect such polynomials. Okay, G of x belongs to f of x, such that G of t of alpha is in W. So that means this G induces some linear operator that is in the polynomial in T, which brings this alpha into W, okay, or the image of the alpha under that linear operator g of t. Instead of taking t, we collect g of t of alpha belongs to W. In this case, we call these polynomials as t conductors of alpha into W. That means if you if you take a g from this and apply g of t, then g of t of alpha is in W. So this g conduct or g brings this alpha into this W. In that sense, we call this as the t conductors of alpha into W, and we denote this as s of t alpha W. Okay, this collects all polynomial g of x such that g of t of alpha in W. So that is the definition here. Let W be an invariant subspace over T and let alpha be a vector in V. The T conductor of alpha into W is the set of all polynomials. That is the set St alpha W, which consists of all polynomials G such that, of course, this G is a polynomial over F such that G of T of alpha in W. Now we have a remark. If W is equal to set of all the set of zero vector, that means if you take this W is in a trivial subspace, then W is invariant under every T. If you choose any T belongs to V, you can easily get that W is invariant under T because T of 0 equal to 0. In this case, the T conductors of any alpha, if you choose an arbitrary alpha belongs to V, then we define St alpha W as set of all G belongs to f of x. This is the definition what we have just defined. G of T of alpha belongs to W. Okay, but W is the set containing 0. Okay, so this is equal to set of all G belongs to f of x such that G of T of alpha belongs to W means that is an element of this set, hence that contain only one element, so that will be 0. In this set, in this case, we call this the conductor the St alpha W as the T annihilator. So the conductor is called T annihilator. So this is a remark. So this is a definition of T annihilator. T annihilator collects all G such that G of T of alpha equal to 0 instead of belongs to W. This W is singletons at 0, so we call this set as a T annihilator of alpha into W. We have one more remark. If we take alpha equal to 0, then what is St alpha W for any invariant subspace? W is any invariant subspace under T. Okay, subspace under T. So in this case, this alpha is 0, so this collects all the points, all the polynomials G belongs to f of x such that G of T of alpha is 0 here, so that belongs to W. We know that G of T of alpha is always 0 in this case because image of 0 is 0 under any linear operator. So this of 0 is 0 itself, so 0 is always in W, so this contains the whole of this f of x. Okay, we can choose any polynomial from f of x which gives the statement to be true. So this St alpha W contains or equal to f of x if alpha is equal to 0. These are the two important remarks on this definition. Now we will prove this lemma. If W is an invariant subspace for T, then W is an invariant under every polynomial in T. Okay, not only this T, if you take any polynomial in T, then this W is also an invariant subspace of that linear operator corresponding to that polynomial. Thus, using that fact, we will prove that for each alpha in V, the conductor S alpha W is an ideal of the polynomial algebra f of x. So if you once you got this S alpha W is an ideal, then you can consider we can say that this any ideal of this f of x is a principal ideal, and you will have a monic generator. So first of all, we will prove this W is invariant under if W is invariant subspace of T, then that is invariant under any polynomial T. So that is because since this W is invariant under T, then alpha belongs to W. We have T of alpha belongs to W. Okay, and if we have T of alpha belongs to W, then that implies T of alpha belongs to W. Consequently, T square of alpha, that is T of alpha, that is also belongs to W. So continuing this process, you can get T of k of alpha belongs to W for any k belongs to Z, or any k belongs to N. Okay, so which shows that if alpha belongs to W, then any power of this T of alpha belongs to W. Now you can easily get this alpha belongs to W, then that implies a naught I plus a1 t plus etc plus a n t raised to n of alpha, okay, belongs to W as well, because this a naught alpha plus a1 t alpha plus etc a n t raised to n alpha are all in W. Then this of course the first term is a naught I, then a naught I is I of W is equal to a naught W, that is also in W. So everything will be in W. Then we can say that this if you represent this this linear operator as some polynomial, the polynomial corresponding to this linear operator is a naught plus a1 x plus etc a n x raised to n, then we can say that any polynomial expression in T, this W is also an invariant subspace of any polynomial expressions in T, and also this belongs to in this case we can say that this belongs to the S alpha st alpha W. Okay, now if you have this result, then you can easily prove that this S alpha W st alpha W is a subspace of the vector space f of x, or it's a subgroup. Will show that st alpha W, or simply we can write it as S alpha W as far as T is concerned. In this in one case we fix T, then we will discuss all these things, so we need not write T all the time. So S alpha W consisting of the polynomial, the definition is G belongs to f of x such that G of T of alpha belongs to W. Now you consider any two polynomials in this collection, C f plus G. This f and G are elements of S alpha W. Then we have C f G of T is defined as C times f of T plus G of T. Since T is W is invariant under T, then you can say that C f plus G T of alpha is equal to C f of T of alpha plus G of T of alpha. Those are elements of W as well, because f of T of alpha is an element of W, G of T of alpha is again an element of W, then sum is also in W, since W is a subspace. So this shows that this st alpha W or S alpha W is a subspace or simply a additive subgroup. Okay, and we have any arbitrary element. If we choose G be a polynomial, this G belongs to S alpha W, and if f is any polynomial, in f of x, an arbitrary polynomial, in this case we haven't assumed that this f is an element of S alpha W, so this is an arbitrary element and this is a polynomial from S alpha W. That means G of T of alpha is in W. Okay, we cannot expect anything about this f of T of alpha. Now you consider this f G of T, and this is nothing but f of T composition, that means of G of T. Okay, Now we have fg of t of alpha, of any alpha, is equal to f of t of this alpha, g of t of alpha, g of t of alpha. But we know that g comes from this s alpha w, then g of t of alpha is in w, say beta, then f of t of beta is in w, because we already proved that if t is invariant, if w is invariant under t and beta belongs to w, then f of t of beta belongs to w for any polynomial expression f of t. So which shows that this collection, this s alpha w is an ideal, okay, is an ideal. Consequently, this can be considered as a ideal generated by a single monic polynomial g, or a single monic generator g of x. Okay, so this g of x is also called the t conductor of alpha into w. Okay, so in now onwards, the t conductor of then this can be considered as the multiples of g of x. Then this consists of g of x into f of x, such f of x belongs to f of x. So this is the definition of this, and we know that this g of x is the monic generator of this. That means g of t of alpha is in w, and g is the minimal degree monic polynomial with the property that g of t of alpha belongs to w. Okay, so this polynomial is also called the t conductor of alpha into w. So now onwards, the relevance of this g is or g has the more relevance than this s alpha w, because any element of s alpha w can be obtained from this g of x, and this g of x is called, now onwards the g of x is called the t conductor of alpha into w. So any t conductor, any element of this s alpha w is a multiple of this g. Then this g has two properties: g of t of alpha belongs to w, and the second property is g is the minimal degree monic polynomial, minimal degree monic polynomial in s alpha w. Okay, so these are the, or these things characterizes the g, okay, monic generator for that w. Okay, now we will prove another lemma to get the characterization for triangulable linear operators. The other lemma is, if we start with a finite dimensional vector space and t be a linear operator with the minimal polynomial as a linear product of linear factors, that is minimal polynomial for t is p is equal to x minus c1 raised to r1 etc. x minus ck raised to rk. That means the minimal polynomial can be completely factored into linear factors. If this is the, if we have a linear operator with this property, then for every proper invariant subspace under t, so this w is a proper invariant subspace. Proper means w is a subspace but which is not equal to v. That means we can easily find an alpha which does not belong to w and that is an element of v. Okay, if there exists such an invariant subspace for t, then you can easily find an alpha not only not only in v, but that will not be an element of w, and t minus ci of alpha belongs to w for some characteristic value for t. Okay, characteristic value c for t. Okay, we will prove that. That means if we have a vector space v here and we have a w, if w is invariant under t, then we can say that if this w is not equal to v, you can choose an alpha beyond this w and t minus ci of alpha. Okay, t minus c of alpha is in w for the characteristic value c. Okay, so we will prove this lemma to get the characterization for the triangulable linear operator. Now we have this situation. Now we will prove this theorem. We can easily assume that the characteristic polynomial of t from the minimal polynomial of t. So we assume minimal polynomial for t is x minus c1 raised to r1, etc., x minus ck raised to rk. Therefore, we can say that these c1, c2, ck are the distinct characteristic values of t. In order to get an alpha satisfying this condition, we start a beta. Since this w not equal to v, then there exists a beta belongs to w that does not belong to belongs to v that does not belong to w. So we start with an arbitrary element. From this we will get the candidate alpha satisfying these things. Okay, so if you start a beta which is not in w and beta is an element of v, then you can easily get we can consider st beta w. So this contains all polynomial g belongs to f of x such that g of t of beta belongs to w. Okay, but we know that since this p is the minimal polynomial for t, then this implies p of t is a annihilating polynomial. So p is minimal polynomial is also an annihilating polynomial, because minimal polynomial is the generator of monic generator of all the annihilating polynomials. So p of t will be 0. Then you can get p of, from this you can get p of t of any beta equal to 0 for all beta belongs to v. Therefore, in particular, for this is true for this this beta, then we can say that p of t of beta equal to 0, that is also in the subspace w, implies p belongs to st b w. Okay, and we assume that this is generated by the polynomial g of x. Then from this you can say that every element of this st beta w is a multiple of this g of x. G of x is the monic generator for this ideal. Then p is also if p is an element of this set, you can say that this g divides this p. Okay, so we can say, we can write this g is equal to, or g of x divides p of x. That means g of x is a g of x takes the form g of x equal to x minus c1 raised to g of x should be a polynomial which divides this p. That means this polynomial. So g of x takes the form x minus c1 raised to e1, etc., x minus ck raised to ek. So this will be the general form of the monic generator. Okay, now we consider j such that we know this is because of this fact we write this g of x divides p of x, and p of x takes the form x minus c1 raised to r1, etc., x minus ck raised to rk. So we can say that this this polynomial divides this. Then the possibilities for this ei's are 0 less than or equal to ei less than or equal to ri. So this is the possibilities for this ei. And we can also assume that this one of these ei's will be greater than 0, because if this if all the ei's are 0 for all I, this implies g of x will be the polynomial 1, and consequently this g of t of this beta, that will be since this g of t is identity, then I of beta that will be w, that will be in w, that is beta will be an element of w, which is a contradiction. Okay, if you assume this ei is equal to 0 for all I, then you can get a contradiction. So we can expect that ei not equal to 0 for some I. Okay, now we choose j such that ej is, okay, ej is non-zero. Okay. Choose j such that ej is greater than 0. Okay, so then x minus, then we can get a factor x minus cj. Since this x minus if we have x minus cj raised to ej is there, and ej is greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1, then this x minus cj should divide this g. Therefore, so we write this divides g of x, and hence g takes the form g of x equal to x minus cj times some h of x for some polynomial h of x. Okay, we define alpha, we define our candidate right now. Alpha is equal to h of t of beta. Okay, h of t of beta. We can say that this never be an element of w, because g is the monic generator of t conductors, or g is the t conductor. Then g is the minimal degree polynomial which brings this beta into w, but here h has degree less than the degree of g of x. Therefore, g of t of beta never be in w. Okay, if this h of t of beta were in w, then h would have been the monic generator. Okay, so this, since the g of x is the least degree polynomial with this conducting property, we can get this h of t of beta never be in w. But when you consider, if you write this write this alpha in this way, we consider t minus cji of alpha. Okay, so this is equal to t minus cji of h of t of beta, because alpha is defined as h of t of beta. So this is nothing but g of t, that is, because this is our g of t of beta, and this is in w. Okay, now once you define alpha in this manner, you can get alpha does not belong to w and g of t of beta is in w. Okay, or this t minus cj of alpha is in w. We know that this cj is always a characteristic value, because that is a root of the minimal polynomial, and a root of minimal polynomial is also the root of the characteristic polynomial. Therefore, cj form a characteristic value. So alpha, there exists alpha does not belong to w, and t minus ci of alpha belongs to w. Okay, this shows that if we choose any proper subspace of v, say w, then for any for this this proper subspace, you can get an element alpha which is not in this subspace, but t minus ci of alpha in w. Okay, t minus ci of alpha in w, which shows that t minus ci, or this x minus c, the polynomial x minus c, say I will write g1 of x minus c is a is the t conductor of alpha into w. That means for any subspace, proper invariant subspace of v, there exists an alpha whose t conductor is a linear polynomial. That is the meaning of this lemma. Using this lemma, we will prove the characterization of triangulable linear operator, and consequently we can prove the characterization for diagonalizable operator. That we will discuss in the next class.